Hey friends, happy Friday, 16th of July. I hope those of you who work weeks, you might have some plans for some rest and some recreation this weekend. We'll hear a little bit about rest in the gospel today. Hey, I will give you a daily reflection. I invite you to then click the link over on the sidebar if you haven't yet read the readings prayerfully. Turn off your screen and spend some time with the Lord over the course of a few moments before you move on to other things. All right. First reading, the book of Exodus. We skipped from like chapter 3, the call of Moses, over all of the shenanigans with Moses and Aaron and Pharaoh and the plagues. If you love the plagues, go read them, right? We are picking up on the 10th plague, and we don't even hear like the troublesome, problematic portions of this, which is God sending the destroyer to kill all of the firstborns of Egypt. Instead, we just have the instruction for the Passover meal, especially centered around the roasted lamb. And I know I need to not say it, but you guys know I'm a hunter, I eat a bunch of meat, and so a passage like this where we get very exacting details for how to consume meat, it does make me chuckle. I know we're going to be in a few weeks in some of the books of law, like in Leviticus and Numbers. We're probably not going to get any of that specificity about the animal sacrifice in the temple. Anyway, sorry, that's me being a nerd. If you want to read about the plagues, go ahead and read about the plagues. Now, why do we have this Passover story? Because this becomes then a yearly ritual for Israel. This becomes the ritual that's reinterpreted by Christians because Jesus is killed, executed, slaughtered at the same time as the lambs in Jerusalem, tens of thousands of lambs, were being slaughtered for the Passover sacrifice. And so Jesus becomes known as the Lamb of God, in whose blood we have protection from God, forgiveness of sins, in whose blood we are saved, right? And so the blood of the lamb wiped on the doorpost, the destroyer passes over, and so Israel is saved in the blood of the lamb. They are redeemed, right? Because after this, they are going to be expelled from Egypt. Get out of our midst. And then they are going to go into the desert. So God is making good on God's promise to be a liberator, to be a redeemer, to be one who rescues from slavery. As we perhaps read this the story of the Passover meal, perhaps we remember the gift of faith, the gift of God who has worked powerfully in our own lives. The times when our backs were up against the wall and the Lord created a way out, the times that we thought for sure there was certain doom and the Lord brought deliverance, the times that we felt enslaved or trapped, the times that it felt like our lives had lost meaning and purpose and value, and then the gift of faith and the Lord worked powerfully in those times. The psalm might be useful to pray. I'll take the cup of blessing and I will call upon the goodness of the Lord, and I will remember the Lord who has looked after me. You might pray that psalm. Okay, let's talk for a moment about the gospel. Jesus gets into a Sabbath dispute about rolling heads of grain as they walk through a field. I do think that it's important to say this in 21st century context where we so often work ourselves to death and where we just push and push and push and push and push, right? Let's remember, Jesus, his mother, his family, his closest friends, his followers, his students, they were all observant. They all would have observed a Sabbath rest. They all would have been mindful of observing it in the community of faith in a local synagogue, studying the word, being formed, and then spending time in a meal with family and friends. They would have been mindful of rest on the Lord's day. The question that I might ask is, what's your plan to rest your body, which is a creation and not a machine? What's your plan to rest your body on this Sunday, the Lord's Day? So often, and this is the legalism of the Catholic mind, where we can think, okay, what's the one thing that I'm obliged to do? Attend Mass, check, then I'm going to work for the rest of the day, then I'm going to run myself ragged, then I'm going to keep up with the neighbors, whatever it is that we're going to do. Do we have time set aside to rest, to allow God to minister to us, to take care of us as creatures. Remember the gospel from yesterday, right? Come to me, all you who labor and are heavily burdened. I will give you rest. Promise of God. Maybe sometimes we shortcut because we think that it's all about achievement and all of the other garbage that the world tells us, instead of acknowledging that we are loved, we are created, we are called to simply marinate and bask in the love of God. Let that be enough. All right, friends, enjoy the readings, whatever it is that resonates with you. Click the link, read the readings prayerfully, turn off the screen, spend some time in reflection and in prayer before you move on to other things. Happy Friday. Get some rest. God bless.